Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Bill Davis, and I'm welcoming everyone to a very rare taping of the Thursday morning meeting of the Shrewsbury Men's Club. This is a special meeting for us because we are recognizing and congratulating the men who have, for the last 25 years, attended, filmed, and announced both home and away sports events of the Shrewsbury High School athletes. And I might add, in all kinds of weather. It has been some kind of days that they've been outside doing that. They've announced at the end of this season they will be retiring, and this will be their last season doing this announcing. I'd like to introduce the whole team, the entire panel, and I'll first start with behind the camera, Mark Serra, Executive Director of Shrewsbury Media Connection. Next we have Johnny Mastro. Johnny Mastro is Shrewsbury Media Connection's voice of the Colonials. We also have with us Bob Bigda, color analyst and Shrewsbury High Stadium announcer. We then have color analyst and the man on the field where all the action is, occasionally close to the cheerleaders, Bill Orfleon. And then there is Nick Tedisco, producer extraordinaire. Nick has produced over 2,000 shows for Shrewsbury Media Connection, and that exceeds 6,000 hours. For the sake of the Senior Center newsletter, I borrowed a quote from Johnny Mastro to give us a theme for today's program. And the quote goes like this: "It's always been all about the kids." Please give a warm welcome to the Shrewsbury Channel 328 sports team.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. We'll talk a little bit about ourselves to start, and then we'll talk about what we've done for the last 25 years. Answer any questions you want to throw at us. We've heard them all, and maybe you'll throw something new at us that we haven't heard before. But so, first of all, Mark Serra's been with us, like Bill was saying, for since the onset. He was our original teacher, producer. Did it with Billy D'Amelia when Billy first came in, and myself, and taught us how to produce television shows. So we couldn't have done anything that we've done in the last 25 years without Mark Serra and the crew at TV down at Shrewsbury Media Connection. And he's got a great group of people that are working down there. They really are.
And early on, he was the one that strung the tin cans together so that we could announce it on TV.
Yeah, yeah, we can talk a little bit about that afterwards, because there's 100 stories behind 100 stories. Then to the far left of our table, Bobby Bigda. Bobby originally is from Holyoke, Massachusetts. Went to Holyoke High, I believe, then went to Holy Cross College.
Pitched for Holy Cross College.
Yeah.
On the baseball. I'm sorry, shortstop.
He's a shortstop at Holy Cross.
Yeah, I started out with these guys. I moved to Shrewsbury in 1979, not too long after I graduated from Holy Cross. Really loved the area, loved Shrewsbury, been here ever since. I started with the show. They invited me to do the show as a cameraman. Said, come on in, we need somebody to film and everything else. So I started with one of the other fathers that was playing football, one of the kids fathers that were playing football, and we started, and from there, I did the camera for, I don't know, probably a year or two, and then I think there was something came up, and there was like 2 guys sick, and they said, "Oh, you got to go on the show. You got to do the show." I said, "I don't know, show. I don't know what I'm doing."
Well, I think you started on Good Morning Shrewsbury,
Yeah,
Bobby. I think that
did
was
I?
the first thing you came out
Yeah.
with Henry Grant Petro. You guys remember Henry? He was with us a little bit in the beginning, and then we fired him, and then and we
He
had
kept going back to 1963.
yeah. So then Bobby came in and took Henry's place. So
Yeah, so I was once I got off from behind the camera and got on the show, everything else is history. I also have been announcing at the school. Like Bill said, I've been doing football games. I did them at the old high school. It was on Oak Street. That's where I started with the basketball and football. Since then, we're now doing, John and I both kind of share because there's so many games. We're doing field hockey, boys and girls soccer, the basketball, football. So we do, I would say probably close to 75, 80 games a year. We do a baseball game or two also.
And if you think we know nothing about football, you should see us when we look at do field hockey.
Fortunately, all we have to do is like introduce the starting line
Yeah.
and say the
Say the
score.
goals.
Yeah, and that's, we don't have to analyze it or anything. We did have to do that. One year we did the field hockey finals at Worcester State, and we had no idea what we were doing. We were calling it handsies, footsies. We didn't know. They'd blow the whistle. We had no idea. We got Billy's niece. Came in the
Grillo.
booth at halftime and stayed with us for the second half, so she was filling us in on the rules as we went. So that was a little bit of a help. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
thanks, Bob. And then Billy Orfley. Billy grew up in Worcester, up on Grafton Hill, and we've met all of Billy's friends up at Grafton Hill. He's incorporated us into his gang up on Grafton Hill. Play golf with them all the time, and went to the North High School, and
Yeah,
eventually.
North High
Now his
School.
name when he lived in Worcester was Orfalea, but when he moved to Shrewsbury, he changed it to Orfley.
And he started putting his collar up like this
Yeah, it was Shrewsbury.
when he moved to Shrewsbury.
So Billy.
So the story goes. The truth of the matter is, when I came to Shrewsbury, August 19th, 1991, Hurricane Bob.
Oh, you ought to blame for
Hurricane
that.
Bob. My wife says, "We're moving." I says, "It's a hurricane out there." She says, "We're moving." I said, "Okay." Massett came over, started to carry the stuff. He said, "Oh, by the way, you have no insurance if we drop anything. There's a hurricane out there." She said, "That's fine." So we moved into Shrewsbury, August 19, 1991. We moved here because of the schools. No doubt about it. My kids love the school. We love the schools. The whole family loves the schools. So that's the reason why we came here. The reason why I joined these guys, they needed a good-looking sidekick.
And nobody else would come, so we got Billy.
Everybody had a dandy don. They needed
Listen, listen, Nate, the reason he came is he found out we went out to eat after every game.
The fact of the matter is, he's doing the PA. He can't talk. This guy can't see. An 82 turns into a 53. This one up there, because of the weather, he's mumbling, so no one knows what's going on. So they needed me. And that's the reason why I joined. And it's been the greatest thrill of my life. I've developed 3 great friends. Families are great. And like Nikki says, we've incorporated them into all my friends from Grafton Hill, and we have many. So it's good to be here. And when we join you, he'll go first. He's the youngest. I'm the oldest, by the
No,
way.
Nick's the
But he'll go first.
Thanks,
But
Billy.
that's it.
I'm from, I'll give you a little background on me. My father was a mailman in town. He also did catering for many, many years. I was born in Clinton. He married my mother. She was from Clinton. I was born in Clinton at Clinton Hospital. I lived there till I was 4. And then we moved to Edgemont Road. And back then, Shrewsbury was rural. I mean, it was a far, I was afraid to go outside because there were so many woods around us. The town's changed. My cousin Dennis and I, God rest his soul, he was involved with this when he was alive. We hunted in so many places where there's million-dollar houses now, back when we were young. But I wanted to go, I'll tell you a quick story. I wanted to go to Shrewsbury High. I needed to go to a Catholic school. I was a brat. Not a brat, I was a bad kid back then.
Back then.
And my mother and I were sitting at the Sacred Heart Academy orientation, and they started going over the sports. Oh, we got a great hockey team, and basketball, and soccer, and baseball, and Ma, they don't have football. So, I ain't coming here. Yes, you are. I lost. So I went there. It closed after 2 years. I went to Holy Name because I didn't want to go to St. Peter's. I had friends at Holy Name. I could get rides. But I moved to, I lived in Worcester for a year after I got married, came right back to Shrewsbury. I've lived in my house for 45 years now, and my son went there, and I think Bill said it earlier, I have bled blue and gold my whole life, except for those 4 short years when I was at Sacred Heart and Holy Name. So, and my son and his son and Nick have all been elected to the Shrewsbury High School Hall of Fame. My son has the shot put record. He's had it since 1998, both indoors and outdoors, and he beat Skippy Hare. I don't know if anybody remembers Skippy. He was in the 60s. He was a tremendous athlete. He still has the longest discus throw at Shrewsbury High School, and he's also got something else, some other record. Now, that's from the mid-60s. So I was very proud when my son broke that record. And like I said, I bleed blue and gold. And Bill also said our mantra has always been, it's always about the kids. Yeah, we have a good time. We love to laugh. We love to give each other a hard time. But the kids always came first. And if we said something bad about a kid by mistake, it was not meant the way it probably sounded.
Now, I just want to let you know, you've just witnessed why Billy and I don't ever get to talk on the show. That's what happens. We get to say like 1/1,000,000th of the words that John says.
That's why I get paid so much.
You all done?
I'm done. I'm done.
Sure, you got another
Sure.
story you want to tell us?
I got plenty of them.
Go ahead.
Thank you. And I'm Nick Tedesco. I have the same name as my dad. My dad grew up in Shrewsbury. His parents immigrated from Vigilia, Italy, back in 1910, 1911. And I've lived in Shrewsbury my whole life. Never had the opportunity, although I've matriculated to Southern California a few times, because that's where my father ended up moving to. But lived on Edgewater Ave for about 12 years. Then my parents split up, and my mother remarried Ed Fletcher. He used to be the superintendent of the water department in Shrewsbury. And I moved up to Spring Street and lived up there through my high school years, where I went to Shrewsbury High. And I, too, played on the football team at Shrewsbury High. We went to the Super Bowl, the first team to go to a Super Bowl in central Massachusetts. And so that's one thing my son and I haven't together is we both played on a Super Bowl team. And I lived in Shrewsbury the whole time. We started this thing 25 years ago. Like I mentioned Mark earlier, Billy Orfley had said something to me about Terry Wallace, the football coach at Shrewsbury High School, had wanted to develop a football program greater than what we had originally coming in. Now, there was a good football team coming into Shrewsbury before Terry came in. They had just gone to a Super Bowl a couple years prior to that, and they had a good team with a good coach. Sean Mahoney was the coach. But Terry coming in wanted to develop the program even more. So he talked to Billy D'Amelia about doing broadcasting, starting a Coach's Corner show type of thing. We didn't have a name for it back then. It eventually evolved into Coach's Corner. And so Billy D'Amelia and myself both took some lessons on how to produce television shows.
Yeah, too.
Before I knew it, I was in the producer's room producing television shows, while John and Billy D'Amelia and the coach would be sitting out on the dais producing Coach's Corner. And we started broadcasting the football games. And Billy came in and Bobby came in, and over the years, we became a pretty good team ourselves, going to all the games home and away. Did I miss anything?
No, I think, Nick's point, we did start out primarily as just football. And over
Yeah.
the years, we expanded to a lot of different sports. We even had, we had the debate team on the show, Coach's Corner. We actually went to a debate and followed the girls and boys around from, and it was very impressive.
It was amazing.
Yeah, I was in tears. I mean, there were kids that were doing, I don't know what
Because it's
they.
not just debate, they
Yeah.
have to tell a story.
Yeah, they tell stories either.
Unbelievable.
Well, tell them about the debate you had.
Well, we had a debate. We set it up when they came on the show. We said we're gonna do an actual debate with the debate team at the end of the show. So I wore a tie, I put a tie on, and and the debate was, the last 5 minutes of the show, the debate was whether debate was a sport or not. And I was on the anti-sport side. I said, no, it's not a,
It went down.
it's
They
not a
killed
sport. I said, you don't bleed, you don't get hurt, you don't do anything. I said, it's not physical, exertion. He said, I talked for like a minute, they jumped all over me. Did you ever try to walk in high heels from one end of the school to the other school? We bleed, we have to have they gave them all the reasons why it's a sport, so I said, okay, I give up. But, yeah, it's been fun. I mean, like we said with the field hockey, we knew nothing about field hockey and learned over the years, we got better at the rules and knowing the sports. And, we've done now hockey. We do a lot of hockey, some of the state tournaments, and it's been, I've had a great time. I said the football was great, but when we got into all these other sports too, and had the kids come on and different sports, it's been terrific.
Plus two in year like 2 or 3. I don't remember exactly when it was. At one point, we were doing every single basketball game
Yes.
played by the boys and the girls. I would travel. I had Mark trained.
I trained
But
Tara.
you trained Tara Howe. Kara.
Kara Howe.
Kara Howe.
Yeah.
And I would meet her wherever we were, whether it was in Pepperell or Fitchburg or Leominster. No matter where we were, Quabbin. I used to hate going to Quabbin. I would get out of work and I'd go right to the games, and I announced every girls' basketball game for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. I don't know. And you and Billy
We
did
did all
every
the
boys'
boys.
basketball game for
We
3
did.
or 4 years.
Yeah. It was fun.
It was fun.
And the thing that we haven't mentioned yet, and which some people are amazed at this, is, what were you, crazy? 2,000 broadcasts, 2,000 shows? You guys must have made a fortune. We made nothing. It was all volunteer. Every minute, every ounce of our energy, every penny or nickel of gas that went into our gas tanks to travel to these games came out of our own pocket.
Wait a minute. We would go to Fitchburg.
Speaking-
Has
yeah.
anybody ever been
Not
to
Fitchburg,
Fitchburg?
Leominster.
Leominster or Fitchburg?
Leominster.
Gas up there is 15 cents less than here. No matter what gas is here. And he would drive around. We're starving. We haven't eaten since noontime.
Noontime, yeah.
It's 9:30, and he's going, I gotta find some gas stations around here.
We went back, we went by one, he took a U-turn, went back to save 3 cents a gallon.
2 cents a gallon.
And he filled 9 gallons. I said, Nick, that's 27 cents. I said, I'll give you the damn.
We'll give you a quarter.
I'm starving
It's
here.
the principle. It's all right. Hey, what do you want to do?
Over the years, though, the biggest change in 25 years has been the technology.
Oh, yeah.
We started off with some real boom boxes, didn't we?
Up here?
Yeah, up
Cameras,
here,
yeah.
cameras
Now,
and
they're making it
stuff.
sound like they had the camera up. It was me. I had the
I had-
camera off my
Some
shoulder.
too.
I did too.
Yeah.
I had some of them.
They gave it to me once, and here I am. Remember, the camera's got to move.
Cheerleaders.
Billy's watching the game, the camera
I'm
stays
watching the
there.
game. They're running downfield. I'm like this. I don't care. So that was the last time I ever touched the camera.
Well, we
But-
used to do baseball
Yeah.
games at the old high school where
Oh,
the middle
yeah.
school is now. So in order for, the best spot to get to broadcast and put the camera so you could broadcast the game was up on the roof of the high school. So we were shown
old
by
high
the,
school. The old
yeah, the old high school, middle school. So the janitor showed us how to get up on the roof. We had to go through this little crawl space, up
Classic,
onto
yeah.
the roof, and we'd go right next to the edge of the building, overlooking the high school, and that's where we used to broadcast the baseball games, on the roof of the high school. But getting up and down was always a joy, climbing up through that ladder.
In the new school, we actually rented a U-Haul truck.
Yeah.
Remember, we rented it and we parked it behind the backstop and got on top of it so we could look over the,
That lasted
Yeah.
about 2 innings.
yeah, the foul ball
Because
almost
the
knocked
foul
us out.
balls were coming right back over the fence that almost hit us, so.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
we've
pretty
had
funny.
we've had some pretty, I mean, there's stories behind the story too. That's half the battle too.
Let me finish the technology.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
This last year, finally last year, and what do we get? Wireless mics. I don't need to have to wait for a wire to come down. We don't have to do anything. So they give me a headphone. Goodbye, guys. I'm not sitting in this little bandbox that we had, bread box. And I went down on the field. It was the best day I ever had. I visit the girls, cheerleaders.
Trainer.
The
I
train,
go see the trainer. I go back to the girls.
hot chocolate.
Then he
I
was
get a
going to
hot
start
chocolate.
talking to the referee.
The ref's yelling at us to get
Referee
off the
says,
field.
"Hey, get back to the 20." I said, "I'm pressed. I'm pressed." So they let me stay there. But the technology change, just without wires, was fantastic. And you know, I would love to see another group could take this over because they got all the advantages in the world now.
Right. I mean, before, when we used to do the basketball games at Shrewsbury High School, talk about wires. Now, Mark has all these XLR cables that you have to run from the camera underneath the stands out to get to where, out to where we're broadcasting on the floor. And that takes, sometimes a half an hour to set up before the game. We come in now, we put the table down, we sit at the table, Mark sets his camera up there, we put the wireless mics on, and it's done in like 10 minutes. It's just amazing how the technology's changed over the last 25 years. So we're happy about that.
The first time we did a live broadcast, it was a truck. The guy was trying to sell Mark something, and he said, "Oh yeah, I'll come up." So you know how the WBZ and all them, they have those trucks. He brings the truck up to Assumption. We're doing the playoff game, Shrewsbury St. John's. We've got all these wires coming, and now it literally is a box about this big. And it goes through the airwaves and through the
Yeah, for
internet.
years and years, I used to have to listen to these guys cry all the time that I never got us outside of Shrewsbury. Everything was broadcast from Shrewsbury High School. We could never go, everything was tape delayed on the road when we go out and tape games on the road. Well, now we can do games live outside Shrewsbury, which is what these guys were always after. And that's all thanks to Mark Serra. He had to buy the extra equipment, special equipment. And,
So the 33 people that were interested in hearing us, they can hear us now.
Yeah, but Jay is probably very happy right now because
Yeah.
you can't believe how many times we got texts saying, "Is the game on live tonight?" And they wouldn't come to the game because it was too cold or it was raining or,
So a lot of times when we're in the middle of a broadcast, it's just to change the subject a little bit. When we're in the middle of doing a broadcast, usually during the football games, if our team starts going way ahead by about 25, 26, 27 points, and the game is out of control, the game gets a little bit boring. So now we have to become ourselves and be a little bit entertaining. Otherwise, everybody's switching the channel. At
Game
that
gets
point-
out of control, we get out of control.
So and I mean, totally out of control. We were doing one game up in Groton, I
Groton.
believe it was. And
Dunstable.
I'm sure that you guys have all, maybe half of you at least, have seen the movie Old Yeller. Okay, well, that was the discussion. It went on about Old Yeller now the football game is on TV.
it was over after the first series of
I made the
downs.
mistake, I said, right after the first two possessions, we're ahead 14-0. I said, it's gonna be ridiculous. And the PA announcer at the field, I said to him, I said, the guy sounds like his dog just died. You know, he was so depressed about the score, and that's how it all started with Old Yeller and, you know, Pa, don't you?
So the whole discussion for the next 45 minutes was about Old Yeller. And then it gets into food. We talk about food a lot during the games. We try to decide where we're gonna go to dinner after the game, and that's always something that goes on all the time. We had a guy that used to promise that he would make us macaroni and meatballs sometime. That went on for 20 years, and he
Yeah,
never
never did.
invited us. You know, even though he said he would, he never did, so we never. Mike
Somebody might know, Mike
Fontecchio.
Fontecchio.
And we don't mind throwing his name out there, Mike Fontecchio.
He knows.
From Shrewsbury. He used to work at Home Depot
Yeah,
as a greeter up
and then
there.
he moved to Marlboro.
And I'd walk in, hey, Mike, wow, we're still waiting for that meatball dinner. He'd go, oh, okay, that's right. Yeah,
He used to tell us he had a rubber brick that he used to throw at the TV when
when
we
we
came
were
up.
on.
Now, the best story that we have, that I think we can keep it PG rated, is one night we had gone out to dinner at Finders Keepers Restaurant up in West Boylston after one of our,
Oh.
I think it was a basketball game. And we used to take turns driving, because we enjoy riding together. You know, we don't all go in separate cars like the Red Sox used to do. We travel, we like to travel together.
Let me give him a little background first.
Oh, go right ahead, John.
That was prior to my bariatric surgery, so I was kind of big.
Rotund.
Rotund.
I was close to him.
He was close,
But
he was close.
Actually, they were so close that when they play golf, they used to try and get in the same golf cart all the time to keep themselves warm. So they'd sit like the
Warmth in the winter, shade in the summer.
Yeah.
And that's
So
how it
anyway,
was.
good. That's a
But
good. So anyway,
So the
so
four of us are in the car going.
so Billy.
And Billy's little car, he had a little car.
No, he had the
Oh,
green.
was it green?
Electric.
Buick
He had-
Pontiac.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he had a green Buick Park
Avenue,
And it was a beautiful car, very comfortable. We all could fit in very comfortably. So we had gone out to dinner, and I don't know who tells this story
No, we were
better.
on our way to dinner.
Yeah, we were on
Okay, I'll take over.
Okay,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was the
Billy.
driver.
Go ahead.
Anyways, we get in the car, we're going down, we're headed towards Walmart.
Walmart on Route West Boylston Street.
And that's not far, it was a couple hundred yards down the road. The lights go on. What did I do? I went through the red light. Well,
Didn't even slow down.
I tried to slow down.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
I tried to
You
slow
might have
down.
moved your foot, but it
I was
never
just
hit the-
beyond the red light. Anyways, the cop pulls out. He says, "You know what happened?" I says, "Yeah, I know what happened. Momentum took me past the red light. Take a look. Take a look at all this weight. It was momentum."
We had way too
You
much
really
momentum
did.
to stop.
Really did.
So the four of us, I'm sorry, Billy's trying to explain this to the cops, and the three of us are laughing. I mean, like we were stoned or something. I mean, we were just laughing at him trying to. And now the cop looked at us, looked inside, and saw that he was rotund and all that, and he started laughing. He goes, "Get the hell out of here!"
Just slow down, he said.
Yeah, slow down. And that was a funny moment. That was a funny moment. I'm not sure if we had too many to top that one.
But again, we say all the time that it's exactly the way we are when we go play golf and when we go have coffee and when we go out to eat. We really are the way we are on TV. I mean, we just sit there and, back in the day when Terry, I would say, right live, well, it wasn't live back then. Terry, I don't know what the hell you're doing, but you gotta let me know. You know, when he would take 2 timeouts in a row and.
Still gonna delay a game.
Yeah, delay of games, and, but Terry was also, he would laugh at us, you know, he'd say, "Oh, you guys, shut up."
Yeah.
Yeah,
We were sitting at a basketball game at WPI,
Oh, yeah.
and we're watching a game, and there was a
It
group
was
of
a
football
it was
referees.
a district game. right?
District basketball game. A group of football referees came over and they said, "You guys know nothing about football."
They booed us when we walked in, in fact.
But we knew that.
Yeah.
He wasn't telling us anything new.
Yeah, I think with all the publicity that we've received over the past, couple months since we announced that we were calling it quits after the school year. I think a lot of the referees have seen some of the photographs of us in the paper, and they're just happy to get us out of town. They're glad to see us going. As are some people, you know, in town that, you know, they used to tell us that they would watch the game on TV because the camera work was great, but turn the volume off. They didn't want to listen to us. They just watched the game. Well, we heard that.
That was all right.
Yeah, we were all good. We were good with that.
Yeah.
But there's been great stories over the years. I mean, we've like I said, we've covered basically all the sports at Shrewsbury High School. We've worked with great coaches, met a lot of great parents.
Great kids.
Great,
Great,
you know,
great kids.
You know, that's a story in itself. Some of the kids that we've met over the years, you know, they'll come into the broadcast booth and just, you know, just to say hi or shake our hands or whatever and say thanks. You know, we've received some great. I received a great letter not too long ago from one of the kids thanking us for what we did for them, because other communities didn't have what Shrewsbury had. If you go around to the Marlboros, or I know Leominster has a broadcasters that do their games, but they get paid. You know, this is all out of the goodness of our heart, which, and again, it's always really been about the kids of Shrewsbury, because we would think, if we were kids, wouldn't we love to have something like that? And we're just a bunch of regular guys.
I've said it a million times, the thing I'm most proud of, I played football, Nick played football, Bobby played football, Billy played baseball, basketball, and whatever else up at North. But I would love to see one of my games that I played in. I played 2 years at Holy Name. I would love to have that tape. In the last 25 years, any kid that played football in Shrewsbury, if he wanted to see a game or show his kids a game, it might take a little while, but we could get it. And that's what I'm most proud of. And it's, you know, it's important. And we said it on the show all the time, why we loved football so much was, it's the ultimate team game, right? You get 10, if you played football, you know this. There's 11 guys on the field. If 10 guys do the right thing and one guy screws up, it blows everything up and the play's dead. It's just, and the kids, get back to the kids thing. So many times you hear, oh, that kid's bad. He's bad news, that kid right there. We had all those kids on our show, all of them, and not one of them was bad. Not one kid was bad. Okay, maybe they were misguided sometime, but we loved every one of them. We really did.
We lost, I know of two, in the 25 years that we,
Cheese.
Justin Honorado, we lost him, and then we also lost, Richie Doobie, which, explain to him what happened in the last football game that we did.
Yeah, so, I don't know how many years ago it was, like 2008, 9, somewhere in there. There was a special player on Shrewsbury High School. His name was Rich Doobie. Richie was the punt returner for Shrewsbury High School. And,
No.
Punt
He was
returner
the best punt returner we ever had,
he was
ever.
He was
And his kid
extraordinary.
returned punts, and he never caught a ball.
Didn't
He
want
was a great player, and he's in the Hall of Fame. Go ahead,
No, go ahead.
No, you, go.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. You carry it.
I just wanted to know, he was the best guy. Whoever caught, he was the only one who would catch him. Go ahead.
So anyways, so Richie was great, especially during his, one of his final games, which was the Thanksgiving Day game out at Milford, where I think he intercepted two passes.
Yeah.
He
He had a
had,
pick
one of them
six.
ran back for a touchdown. He had a punt return that he ran back for a touchdown as well during that
And
game.
he caught a couple of long bomb
And
passes.
yes, and back in those days, you know, the Knights of Columbus would always, and they still do, they've been doing it for 38 years, provide the MVP trophies and player of the offensive player and defensive player of the game for the game. Well, that year, for some reason, Richie got left out of the mix. He got left out of the mix, and we've never
was a
forgotten that.
travesty. It was a
We never
travesty.
forgot. We've always questioned that amongst ourselves because Richie was such a great little kid. Plus, he used to come in and visit us in the press box. And then Richie went on to play football at Worcester State College. Was a punt returner there, and had a good career. But the problem was is that Richie had a lot of pain from all the injuries that he got through going over that, and got caught up in all of that, what's
Pain
it called?
relief,
Oxycodone,
yeah.
but to help deal with that. And eventually, it killed him. And he died of an overdose from that.
Like
And,
25, he was.
and it's
way
a
too
crying
young.
shame because he was one of those kids that was an outstanding. He could have grown to be an outstanding young man. I mean, because he was. He just had that issue. So we never forgot that. And this being our 25th and final year, I don't know if you know that I'm the Grand Knight at the Knights of Columbus down in Shrewsbury. So I had a double opportunity this year where I was presenting, in charge of presenting the awards for the football game this year, getting the trophies, because the Knights also do a banquet before the Thanksgiving Day game. And we're also doing the broadcast, and I selected these guys to pick the winners of the game that. So we discussed it, and what we came up with is starting this year, Shrewsbury's MVP trophy, we renamed to the Richie Doobie MVP trophy. Going forward, that's what it'll be called every year by the Knights of Columbus. And it was received very warmly by everybody that knows the whole story behind Richie. I know back in the day, it used to be called the Ted Stemmis Award by Shrewsbury High School. I don't know if you guys went to Shrewsbury High or not. I did that's what it was called when I went there, but it wasn't presented by the Knights. It was done by another group. I don't know if the school was doing it, but.
Your Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, thank you, the Chamber of Commerce. But now it's done by the Knights, and now it's gonna be called the Richie Doobie, now that you know his background, and the story behind it. And I think it's very fitting, so.
Yeah, definitely.
He was a great kid. I coached him in baseball, and it was a tragedy. It really was.
Yeah. But let's not end it on a sour note.
No.
What else you got, Billy?
Where are we gonna eat?
Yeah, well,
It's almost lunchtime. No, we got another hour or so.
Okay, we'll take questions.
Mario Johnson.
Mario. Talk about him.
you want me to talk about him as a player?
Yes.
He's the all-time leading rusher at Shrewsbury High School. He played with my son. And when he was young, he started early. I think he was a freshman when he played.
Yeah.
Right, he started. And my son used to come home and say, "Dad, I'm gonna kill him. I hit the guy, I block him this way, he goes that way. I hit the guy this way and he goes that way." But Mario learned, as he grew older, that if your fullback blocked this way, follow his butt and go that way. Mario was a tremendous athlete. He was a tremendous athlete. Obviously, to gain as many yards as he did. Billy's son, Billy O, little Billy, he had 1,970 yards his senior year,
Senior year.
and he missed one game, he was sick. I think Billy would have sent him, I don't think Mary was too keen on sending him. He was a tremendous runner who was stuck behind Mario,
2 years.
okay? In my opinion, and again, I saw Billy D'Amelio play for my son played with him for 3 years. Billy D'Amelio was the best running back I ever saw at Shrewsbury, because Billy made yards by himself. Mario always had great lines. He did. He really did,
Yeah, he did.
right? But Billy didn't necessarily always have great lines, but Billy would run around like an ant and next thing you know, he's in the end zone. And he ran 130 yards for a 40-yard touchdown. Both great players, but again, for the first 20 years anyways of our productions, we always had great running backs. It was just like we just plugged somebody else in. It wasn't just Mario and Billy and we had Alex Alvarez and the kid
Chris
that's on
Abasha.
Chris Abasha, the kid that's on the staff now too, Johnny, I don't remember his name.
That's the problem as we got older.
Yeah, we get older,
Forget the
we
kids'
can't
names.
remember
There's been
their
so
names.
many kids
I mean, we always had great running backs, we really did, but Mario was special.
Yeah,
He was.
He's a great young man too, just personal wise to talk to, just very respectful, very outgoing. But yeah, he was a tremendous runner. And in our 25 years of broadcasting, he's right up at the top with young Billy O, who hit the hole harder and faster than anybody I ever saw in the past 25 years. Now, that doesn't talk about what the players that preceded when we came in.
Yeah, that's true.
Because, I mean, they were great running backs at Shrewsbury High for many, many years, going back to, if you listen to Mo Biseglia, he was a great running back, and he was. He was. But also, I remember Mark Brisbois, who I played with back in 1973, was a tremendous running back,
Vona is-
Patsy Vona, another great one. So over the years, Shrewsbury's been blessed with a great number of running backs.
Real funny story. Mario and Billy were built the same. My son Billy and Mario were built the same.
This is funny.
We're up at Burncoat, and it's preseason, and they're scrimmaging. Now, during the summer, Billy would end up looking like this. That's how dark he got. So the only things you would see are the arms and the legs of the kids playing, and you couldn't tell which one had the ball. Was it Mario or was it Billy? Same, absolutely the same.
It was. And we talk, I know you guys probably know this too, we talk about Lee Diamantopoulos a lot. First of all, as a person, he is a great kid.
He's a gem.
He is a gem. Was he fast? Not really.
Larry Bird.
Yeah.
He was awful.
He was. He couldn't
One of the
run.
slowest
Yeah, he couldn't
person I
run,
know.
but he had it. If you understand sports, you know what that it is. If you needed a shot at the end of the game, or you needed a play,
strikeout.
a strikeout against St. John's at Dean Park with 1,000 kids. I wanted to talk to you about that. That was one of the most thrilling games we ever called, was at Dean Park. We had just put the lights up. I was involved, Nick was involved, we all were involved in Shrewsbury Babe Ruth. We had just put the lights up. Dave Nero, who was at our games every weekend as the baseball, he knew every kid going in. He didn't talk to him, he just came and watched. He said, we gotta have a game down at Dean Park, and we're playing against St. John's, and it is packed. There's kids everywhere, both sidelines. It was amazing. We won on a bunt.
But
Dave Nero never bunted. We always teased him about that, right,
Yeah,
Bobby?
yeah.
You never bunt. You don't steal, you don't bunt. He bunted home the winning run. It was Todd Cooksey.
scored the win run. Tommy Crossman
Tommy
bunted.
Crossman bunted.
Yeah.
And Lee came in that game against a kid that went and played for Minnesota. His father,
Leahy.
Dr.
Timmy Leahy, yeah.
Timmy
Timmy
Leahy.
Leahy.
Yep.
And Lee had pitched in an earlier game, I think, but he just went out there and he blew the kid away. I mean, the kid was 6'2", 240 pounds, he could hit the ball a mile, and Lee just came in and three pitches, boom, boom, boom. That's the kind of athlete he was.
And then when we needed that win in the playoffs up at Burncoat, we played up at
Oh,
West Blade. How many points did he put up that
Oh,
night?
yeah.
40 points or whatever it was
35,
that
40
night.
points, yeah.
So he was the epitome of a three-star athlete
He was.
that we saw play at Shrewsbury High.
The throwback.
Football, even though the one Super Bowl game that he did win, never completed a pass in it. All right, that shows
We still
true-
give him a hard time.
that shows true leadership. If you can win a Super Bowl without completing a pass as a quarterback.
He did
you know.
throw a block, though.
Yeah,
did.
he threw a tremendous block. Sir,
What's the highest level in the sport has any Shrewsbury athlete ever made? Have they ever made pros?
Oh, yeah.
Pros,
Sean
Otherwise,
Loizo played for Baltimore. He was on their
Practice squad.
practice squad. No, Indianapolis, I'm sorry.
oh,
Indianapolis
Houston, he did
Colts.
Houston too, I think.
He did Houston too.
Houston and India.
do any of you want to correct what he just said?
Loizo?
It's not Loizo, it's Luizo.
I said it wrong for 4
His
years.
father, Pudgy Luizo, and
4
his
years.
uncle
We were
played at
sitting around for
Shrewsbury
20
High
years.
School. 4 years, John called him Sean Loizo. His real name is Luizo. All right? So imagine what the parents are going through every night, the rubber bricks at the TV.
Magna to Mecca.
Oh, yeah.
It's the greatest athlete that ever came out of Shrewsbury, female athlete.
In the last 25 years.
Easy, easy. She was an All-American when she left Shrewsbury High. She went to North Carolina, which was a top program in soccer. And she became their captain the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And she became All-American there.
Two national
Two
champions.
NCAA champions.
2 NCAA champions.
She
Just
played,
ships.
she played a little while for the Boston Breakers or whatever
Yeah.
they were, the women's soccer.
She's a doctor
professional
now.
soccer.
She's a doctor.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Brittany.
Brittany Altamari.
Brittany Altamari, God.
Yeah.
We had her on, I think, did she sign
Yeah,
her
we try to,
national letter?
we try to,
Yeah, yeah.
we try to hook up Brittany Altamari with
Eddie Shea.
Eddie Shea.
Eddie Shea playing
Hockey
BC.
for BC.
BC hockey. It didn't work. So, but Brittany Altamari, 2 Saldheim Cups she
Yeah.
played in.
Yeah, she played with Wesley Thompson, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, great athletes.
Magda Temeka, she played soccer, basketball, and track. She wasn't a basketball player, Tom. You've been at more basketball games than I ever been at.
They went to the state championship.
No, but she wasn't a basketball player, she just was
An athlete.
an unbelievable athlete.
Unbelievable.
She made Shrewsbury's press go. They would put her back at the foul line, the defending foul line, and they ran a 2-2-2 press under Mike Ciobro, who, by the way, in my opinion, took Shrewsbury High girls basketball from, we're playing Shrewsbury tonight, to, oh no, we have Shrewsbury tonight. They would score 40 points off their press. And Magda, if they tried a long pass, 2 strides, intercept, throw it to somebody and lay it in. She was an unbelievable. I saw her play at Auburn High School against St. Peter Marion in a state soccer tournament. They had 2 girls on her the whole game. Those girls shadowed her the whole game. She scored 2 goals. We won 3-2. She was phenomenal athlete. I mean, there's been others too, but
But the highest level, Luiso played in the NFL. I think he went to Indiana, right? Indianapolis.
Yeah, he ended
Played
up.
Indianapolis,
said that.
and then, yeah.
Yeah.
In all the football games you covered, did you ever see a referee make a correct?
No. Nope. No. No.
and you know where it's the worst?
I did. I saw him make a correct call one time. He threw the flag, and he picked it up and said there was no penalty. So I said that was the one time that he made the correct call.
I have a one. I have one too. It's a good story. Nick's told it before. Nick's son was a freshman, wasn't he?
He was a freshman, yeah.
Playing center.
No, he was a linebacker during that game.
He was a linebacker. He weighed about 140 pounds. And I was pretty proud of this too, but the whistle blew. He and this kid from
Wachusett, he was a lineman.
absolutely, the whistle blows. If you played football, everything, you go like this. This kid just came and blew him up, his son, knocked him right on his butt.
But
Wait a minute.
But to his, he got up again.
Yes, he did.
And got back into play.
And the referee's standing right there, and he's going like this. And all of a sudden, I see number 33, who was my son, come and bury that kid. And the referee went just like this.
Put the flag back in his pocket and walked away.
So there's two.
That was pretty good. Actually, I got that on video too, so it was pretty
It
cool.
was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So yes, we've seen, but not many.
Not many.
Not many.
And we play golf. We have friends that are basketball referees, and
Yeah, and they all tell us the same thing. You guys don't know what the hell you're talking about. And we never
They send
know.
us books about with all the rules.
We actually had, to our advantage, we had an NFL referee
Yeah.
Oh, we loved
Paul
him
King.
too. He loved
What's
us.
his name again?
Paul King.
Paul King. I don't know if you know Paul King. Paul used to come and do the scoreboard in the press box with us during games.
And he laughed.
And
all
he'd
day.
sit there and he'd just shake his head during the whole, listen to these
And
three
he'd
clowns
laugh,
downstairs
he'd laugh.
in the press box, and I'm upstairs. There's that one, that was a great story, having Paul King trying to, tell us what the rules were, what the real rules were as we're making them up.
Yeah,
as
but
we
a
go.
lot of times he agreed with us too. Right, Bobby?
Yeah.
He never, it was not always, you guys don't know what you're talking
No,
about.
no.
He said, I wouldn't have called that or something like that.
But our favorite press box story happened out in the Showa. And I don't know, maybe Bobby should tell this one. Bobby, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Wait, tell.
We're in the show, but, what would that be, 6, 7 years ago?
Oh, no,
Oh,
it was
it's
longer
longer
than
than
that.
that?
Maybe 10 years ago.
10? Anyway, we're announcing the game, and we jumped out to a lead. Like, first
We're
two
killing
times we
them.
had the
We're
ball,
killing
we scored touchdowns, we're at 14-0. And we're kind of laughing and joking around on the announcing part. And the guy doing the PA, an elderly gentleman, took offense to our humor because his team was losing 14-0, came down and started yelling at us, saying, "You guys, this is my press box. If you don't respect that, I'm gonna call the police, I'm gonna have you removed," and this and that.
He was an older, did you say older?
Yeah, I said
Yeah.
older gentleman.
He's a curmudgeon.
He was.
And,
Kind of like Billy is now.
so he says, he came back again, he's yelling at us again, and John said to him, he says, we don't mind yelling you don't mind yelling at us, but he says, you yelled at us with a mean face. So that was our one time we got in trouble in a press box away from home.
We have to bring this up too, that we have by far the worst press box
Oh, God.
in Massachusetts.
Oh, yeah.
But we're getting a new one.
Since 19, whatever, no, probably
No.
2005.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
been getting a new one. Or whenever they did the new field. When was that?
Yeah, when was that?
I don't know.
You were involved in that too.
Nikki and I were
Yeah.
building committee.
If you're not working a game and you're at another sports event, do you get on the officials?
Absolutely.
He does.
I got thrown out of
Bob.
the baseball game. We were watching Shrewsbury. Billy and I went down to watch I don't know, it was a regular season game. And we walked, Billy says, let's go down and sit by the backstop. So we did. One of the first plays, there's a foul pop fly down the right first baseline, our home dugout area. And there was a line. They put a line there, so if it went over the line, it was out of play. Well, all the players are outside the dugout standing there, and the ball went over their heads. The first baseman ran over and made the catch, but was over the line. But the home plate umpire never moved to go see if he was inside the line or over the line. So I yell out, it's perfectly silent at the game, and I yell out, "Move your ass and get down there and take a look at it." So the guy, turns and looks at me, and he looks at Lee, who's Lee Diamantopoulos, who we mentioned is a varsity coach, and he says, points at me, and he says, "If he doesn't leave, you forfeit the game."
Because I'm leaving, right? Because I'm leaving. He said he was going.
No, he didn't know. He just
Oh.
said if I didn't leave, Shrewsbury was gonna forfeit the game.
So what happened?
So I left, I was walking out, Billy
I
escorted
said,
me.
I'm going with him.
And we were walking out, and my phone rings. I'm about out by left field now, going out the gate, my phone rings, it's Jay Costa, the athletic director, at Shrewsbury, and he says to me, he says, "We were in running for the sportsmanship award this year." Until your outburst kind of put an end to that. I said, "Oh, geez, I'm sorry." So I called Lee that night, and I apologized to Lee. I said, I don't know. I said, I just couldn't let that go. I said, the guy should have. Lee says, "No problem." He says, "You said everything I wanted to say." He said, so that was, I do get on the officials and umps and everything else.
The coaches.
Yeah.
Wait till now. They think we were bad when we were in the booth. Now we're gonna be out there yelling at them when we go to the games.
We told John Aloisi, the head football coach, he says, "We're gonna miss you." I said, "No, you won't. We're gonna be there, and we're gonna bring like cowbells and stuff in the stands. We're gonna be yelling at you from the stands instead of on the TV."
So we've had a lot of good times over the years, and we thank you guys for inviting us today. We enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming in and sharing those stories with us. There's one last thing that I want to do before you guys leave. It's customary when a ball player, like a Celtics or, Ted Williams or someone, at the end of their career, when they've had an exemplary career, that they raise their shirts and their banners to the rafters. This morning, we are raising Channel 2838 to the rafters. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.